What if I told you that some of the things you're doing to help are actually making dementia behaviors worse? Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because of the way the dementia brain now processes information. In today's video, I'm going to show you the 5 hidden mistakes that most caregivers make and what to do instead. Hi, for those of you who are new here, my name is Dr. Sinclair. I'm a neuropsychologist, dementia care specialist, and founder of the Confident Caregiver Academy. Let's jump on in. Before we jump into the mistakes, we need to talk about 2 overwhelmed brains, not one, the dementia brain and the caregiver brain. And today I'm going to demonstrate these concepts to you because I'm hoping that having this visual aid will help you to remember the next time you're interacting with your person with dementia. On-screen care partner is the dementia brain and the caregiver brain. Dementia damages the parts of the brain responsible for logic, so for reasoning, for understanding ideas such as cause and effect. So for example, if I don't take my medication, I will end up in the hospital. If I eat spoiled foods, I would get sick. Dementia also damages the parts of the brain that allows for flexibility, for your loved one to adapt to change, for them to compromise. It also damages the parts that regulates their emotions, and so they get easily overwhelmed and confused. They get easily upset and angered, anxious. And when they feel all of these things, they tend to resist your help or they shut down. At the same time, caregivers live in a constant state of low-grade emergency. You are stressing out over your loved one with dementia. Your nervous system is constantly scanning for danger and trying to keep them safe. Did they take their medication? Did they get into another car accident? Are they paying the bills on time? Etc. You are under a constant state of high stress and anxiety. And what are the ways that we control for our stress and anxiety? We do so by trying to solve the problem, taking control of the issue. And we do it with urgency. There's a problem, so we have to fix it fast, right? So you rush over to your loved one's home and you explain to them why they have to take their medication. You're using logic and reasoning. If you don't take your medication, you will end up in the hospital. So care partners, the very tools that you use to help actually work against the dementia-affected brain. You are tapping into all of the parts of the brain that's damaged as you're trying to help. And that is what is meant by the way that you're trying to help care partners is actually making dementia behaviors worse. It's as if you're trying to help someone hear music through headphones, but the headphones are broken and you keep turning up the volume. It doesn't matter how much you turn up the volume, care partner. If the headset is broken, they're not going to hear. I want for you to think of the dementia-affected brain in that way. They're parts of their brain that is damaged, broken. It doesn't matter how many explanations you give, how much you turn up the volume, it's broken. It's not going to be received. And so it leads to frustrations from you, and it also leads to frustrations from them. And because they're struggling to regulate their emotions now, it's going to lead to a lot of conflict. So let's dive into the 5 mistakes that you're inadvertently making as a dementia caregiver. The first mistake, care partners, is using logic. This one is almost universal. I don't know of one caregiver who started this journey not using logic. You explain, you justify, you think, if I could just help them understand why it's important to take their medication. How many times have you heard yourself say that phrase, if I could just get them to understand? But here's the truth, care partners. Dementia is damaging their ability for logic and understanding new information. So everything that you're trying to do in that moment, dementia is wiping that out. And instead of calming them, logic is now increasing their confusion, and that confusion is leading to agitation. Just think about it. When you were in math class and you were confused, you couldn't understand the problem, you'd get frustrated and agitated, wouldn't you? Same thing here. Because they're losing their ability for logic, it's leading them to feel more confused, and when they are confused, they are agitated. Okay? So logic is now leading to confusion. That increase in confusion is leading to agitation and maybe them lashing out, or maybe them shutting down and withdrawing from you, avoiding your calls, not letting you in the house to take them to the doctor's appointments, okay? It's leading to agitation, shutdown, all of these negative behaviors. And that is what is meant by the thing you're trying to do to help, logic. It's actually making things worse, okay? So in dementia care, less explanation actually leads to more calm. Mistake number 2, correcting reality. Correcting their reality also relies on logic, and it's something that we all do in our day-to-day lives without even realizing we're doing it, right? If we say to a friend, our movie tickets are for Tuesday, and then they ask later on, is it Wednesday? Nope, it's Tuesday, right? We're so used to correcting each other in our day-to-day lives, and we really mean nothing by it. But for a dementia-affected brain, when we correct them, we are asking them to tap into centers that they can no longer tap into. We are asking them to reconcile reality. That's something that their brain is struggling to do. So if we say, that's not your mom, when they've pointed to the wrong person in the picture, or when we say, no one stole your sandwich, you ate it 10 minutes ago, or when we say, that's not what happened. Again, we are so used to innocently correcting each other in this way. Instead of learning the information, which is what you're trying to do by correcting them, they instead feel shame, fear, or they get angry, right? So shame, oh, I don't know who my mom is? What? What's happening to me? Fear, I ate my sandwich? Why don't I remember eating my sandwich? What's going on? Or anger. That did happen. That is how the story goes. What are you talking about? Right, care partners? So when you correct your loved one, you're hoping that they learn the information, that they hold on to the information. But instead, it's just going to lead to one of those outcomes. So the correction is not worth it. Connection regulates behavior, whereas correction escalates it. And so the ways that you can connect in these 3 scenarios that I just gave out, let's say mom pointed out a picture that's not her mom and it's you. The way to connect there is, your mom does look like me in that picture. What do you like most about your mom? And so now we're connecting over a story about your grandmother, mom's mom. Okay? The way to connect when your loved one has eaten their sandwich and forgot and accuses someone else, we're not going to correct them. We're just going to ask, are you still hungry? Would you like a snack? Okay? That's connection. You are now going to prepare a snack for them. You're going to respond to a need that they have. And the way that you would respond to that didn't happen, right? They're giving a story that's incorrect is let them share the story that's incorrect. What does it matter? Right? Unless it's dangerous in some way, care partner, let them have it. Or you can jump in and say, oh yeah, I also remember this and that and that. You can connect that way. And now you guys are having a conversation as opposed to you shutting them down. In summary, care partners, connection regulates behavior, correction escalates it. The third mistake is rushing. As we discussed, there's a lot of urgency for the caregiver. There's so much that you have to get done. However, processing speed goes down with dementia. So your loved ones are going slower with dementia. So when you're rushing, even with good intentions, it's going to create anxious energy for your loved one with dementia because their brains just can't keep up with you. And we know that when they get anxious, right, when there's anxious energy, your loved one can no longer regulate their emotions very well. Okay, so the energy that you're bringing, care partner, the urgency that you're bringing, although it's well intended, often leads to your loved one having a threat response, their freeze, fight, or flight response. So you come in with the anxious energy, we have to go to the appointment, we're going to be late, right? You're trying to help. However, they're going to freeze. They're literally just going to shut down because it's too much and it seems like they're ignoring you, like they're not getting their jacket on. But what's happening here is their freeze response. Or they're going to fight. Don't boss me around. Don't tell me what to do. Get out of my house. I don't want to go to the doctor's appointment, right? They're going to fight. Or they're going to flee. You come in, you're anxious, you're rushed. We got to go. and they just go into the bedroom and they don't come out. Okay, I don't want to go to the appointment. I'm not feeling well. Let's reschedule. Okay, care partners, it was too much for them and they had to retreat. So if your loved one is responding in one of those three ways, it could be that rushed energy was too much for their dementia-affected brain. In summary, fast movements, quick instructions, anxious energy all signal danger. The dementia brain responds the same way any brain does to threat: freeze, fight, or flight. Slowing down, care partners, is not being inefficient. Slowing down is regulating. Mistake number 4, asking open-ended questions. Care partners, when we ask our person with dementia, what do you want to wear? What do you want to eat? What do you want to do? These questions sound respectful. This is how we've always engaged with our person. However, these questions also require executive functions. Executive functions refers to your ability to plan, to be flexible, to sequence ideas, etc. So we're asking these questions for cooperation, but it's actually tapping into the parts of the brain that's damaged for your person with dementia. So instead of it being a helpful way to engage, it often creates stress on your person with dementia when they can't access the answer. What do I want to wear? All of these thoughts start flying in their head and then they get agitated and anxious, right? They just can't access that anymore. So instead, you want to give what we call a forced choice or a binary choice. They are choosing between two simple things. So instead of the question being, what do you want to wear? It now becomes, would you like the red shirt or the white shirt? Instead of what do you want to eat? It now becomes, would you like soup or would you like salad? Instead of what do you want to do, it becomes, should we drive around the park or walk around the park? Okay, care partners, giving two choices, simplifying it for your loved one with dementia. In summary, offer choices that already feel safe. 2 choices, no more than that, care partners. Or guide instead of asking them. Instead of asking if they want a walk, maybe go over, put your arm in theirs, and start walking. That's a helpful way to guide. Mistake number 5, taking the behavior personally. This one hurts the most, care partners, so I do want us to take a step back and slow down. Because when your person with dementia lashes out at you or accuses you of something so vile and tells other people about it, there's going to be a part of your nervous system that's going to respond with, I'm failing in some way. Why are they doing this to me? Why would they try and hurt me? You are going to respond in the way that any of us would respond in that situation. I want to bring your attention back to what I said, which is your loved one is losing the ability to regulate themselves and regulate their emotions. So they are going to lash out a lot, and they are going to say a lot of mean things, and they're going to say a lot of false things, because when the brain is damaged and it can no longer make sense of reality, it's just going to make up all kinds of stories instead. When this is happening to you for the first time, your heart is going to break. And so I'm giving you this explanation so that I can prepare you for what's coming, so that you can start to line up your supports now. I want those supports to be either another family member, a friend that you trust, a clergy member. It can be us in the academy, but I'm telling you, care partner, you will need to line up the supports because you are human. And when your person with dementia starts to lash out with you, it is going to hurt. And you need to have people there who are going to care about you and support you and lift you up when dementia is tearing you down. This behavior is not a reflection of your care. It's a reflection of brain damage. Care partner, if you found yourself nodding along in today's video and wondering why no one has explained these concepts to you before, that's precisely why I created the Confident Caregiver Academy, so that I can help guide care partners through one of the most difficult journeys you will ever face. If you are recognizing that you need a bit more support and guidance, then feel free to book a call with me below. And for those of you recognizing yourself in some of these mistakes and wanting to learn how to do it differently, then go ahead and watch the next video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.